Alright guys, you already know what it is here. And so with Goji Center dropping the Arc Giga versus Skullcrawler, let's talk about it here. There's obviously some mixed opinions about this here. I'm not sure why, because again, the real verdict is that the Arc Giga actually stumps. So what will we be doing here? We will be talking about Arc, the extensive lore, the mechanics that go into the game, and the ranking system that pretty much every creature has to follow, even the modded ones here. Or at least the naturally modded ones, not the outlandish ones like the Primal Fear and stuff like that there. So, I honestly hope you guys enjoy this video. Please comment down below, like, and subscribe, and share it with your friends. And, I think you guys should honestly enjoy it here. Now, when it came down to the video here, obviously they had to take this from a more realistic perspective, despite the sheer fact that these are still fictional creatures with feats and tears here. And some of the things were just flat out outlandish entirely, like the literal fact that Ramarak even has a chance against Arc's Giga. It's really amusing here because again, if you guys look at the tiering and the scaling, which we will get into very soon here, there is nothing, and I do mean this, nothing that Ramarak can do. If it tries to bite the Giga, it's not gonna feel it here. A claw scratch or a swipe, it is still not going to feel it. No matter what Ramarak does or do, it will not affect the Giga. It's on a much higher tier bracket than the Ramarak here. Ramarak at best definitely gets to around City Block, but as I go through this video, you're going to understand that the average Arc creature, or the more high tiers like T-Rex, the Wyverns, and Rock Golem, Shadow Mains, and, you know, the Spinosaurus, and everything else here, they all scale to that. Like, no difficulty here. It doesn't even matter if the Rex would be, like, at a size disadvantage here. Again, when it comes to fictional creatures, and even fictional beings, it is about feats, not about size and weight, okay? So, without further ado, let's start off with the first half of this. Corporal build. Basically, what the creatures pretty much bring into the table as far as their size go, okay? Their size and weight, excuse me. And so, again, a part I really don't care about here when it comes to the fictional creatures here. We know that the Giga, standing upright, definitely has a height advantage, and believe it or not, in terms of weight, they are actually pretty close. Crazy, ain't it? I guess that means this will be a much more fair fight, right? No, because this is where we get into the scaling. The armor, or the durability section here. You see, they said this was equal. Like, I'm not sure how, but they're not equal at all. You see, when they both talked about how, like, the Giga was also vulnerable to, like, piercing attacks from its own apex predators and stuff here, doesn't that mean the predators will have to scale relative to the Giga? Meanwhile, Ramarak is getting its eye literally blown out by a flare gun. And even then, the Giga can take entire rounds of machine guns, cannonballs, catapults, and stuff like that there to the face. And even then, the other Arc creatures also have this mechanic, or at least that kind of durability as well here. The Yangchuanosaurus, I know, modded creature, but still, is able to take an entire machine gun clip like it's absolutely nothing. Oh, wait, but let's not forget, they also talked about how Mei Yin from the lore took the Giga into a boss fight, and the sheer fact that it was able to defeat the Megapithecus. Crazy, ain't it? But now let's talk about somebody else. The Dreadnoughtus, right? Now keep in mind, this is a creature that would also scale to the Giga. And so, it is a part of the official game. Just like the Acro, Deinosuchus, and the Dinotherium, and eventually the Brachiosaurus. So we know from the lore, the Dreadnoughtus is able to 1v1 the Ice Titan. Crazy, ain't it? And we also know that other dinosaurs that were actually made to fight against the Giga. Things like the Carcharodontosaurus, we have other creatures like Diamantinosaurus and the Desolate Titan here, all scale right back towards the Giga. It is literally a scaling point in Ark. He is the scaling point. He's the creature that everyone has to look out for. Everyone has to fear. Everyone has to wonder if their creature can, take them on and stuff like that there. And so the Giga is always been a staple point in Ark scaling. It does not matter if, your creature is a modded one. It still has to be able to measure up towards Ark's Giga. Even at a lower level, at its lower stages here, it is still one of and is the king of Ark in general here, and is respected and regarded as something that can take on the Titans. But keep in mind the sheer fact that the basic bosses actually scale right back to Rockwell, who has multi-city block levels of attack potency. And the funny part is the Giga and the Dreadnoughtus would scale to the Titans, right? And this would actually go right back towards the King Titan, who is around the planetary levels of destruction. And let's talk about why. See, in Aberration, we see Earth. This is Earth here. And it's destabilized. Its rotation has stopped. And this was all caused by the King Titan. You see, in Ark Genesis Part 2, Rockwell was actually able to take over an entire Genesis ship that replicated 2 biome environments here. This is important because considering the sheer fact that Rockwell was responsible for creating most of these biomes here along with the island. Literally an entire island's worth of ecosystems here. However, the King Titan was able to affect the entire planet and can even summon meteors, which the Giga is able to take. Meaning that at a low end, the King Titan would be around large planetary. However, did you know meteors are 45 billion times the explosive power of the Hiroshima atomic bomb? 45 times stronger than that. 4.5 billion, times stronger than that. And the Giga is tanking this kind of force here. The mech is taking these kind of force here. The Carcharodontosaurus, Dreadnoughtus, and Desolate Titan are tanking these forces here. Meaning that the Giga has little over of multi-continental levels of attack potency and durability. And keep in mind, every creature scales right back to this here. You might say, oh, well, why aren't they destroying the environment? Area of effect. You have the attack potency of something and not be able to affect the area. It's kind of common here. Oh, and keep in mind, the Giga would also be more durable because we don't know if the Skullcrowd can resist poison, burning, and even like freezing or internal freezing, as the Giga would actually scale above the Wyverns, and the Wyverns would not be able to actually harm him fully here. So this means he can be burned, poisoned, and electrocuted, and even frozen and wouldn't be harmed here. And keep in mind, 2 Wyverns were able to set siege to an entire city, meaning both Wyverns have multi-city block levels of attack potency. So at a very low end, you get him basically equal to Rockwell, which is around the island levels. But then you have the high ends, which are around the multi-continental levels for the Ark Giga. Yeah, I know. Insane, ain't it? Then you have Ramarak over here, who's supposed to be multi-city block, but yet his eye is getting blown out by a flare gun. And even, yes, they did say this here that, oh, well, they're still getting, pierced by these weaponry here. I'll tell you this. Ark's weaponry is over 100 times greater than the 1973 or the 1960s, whatever time period, 2017 Kong was in. Yeah, the weapons from Ark would be greater than that. Significantly. I would probably say Ark is definitely more advanced once you start getting to the tech era. Imagine, the whole tech equipment that you get here, or the tech replicator even, or the tech generator. 100 times greater and 100 times better than even the Heave. By the way, if anyone wants to use the Hollow Earth scaling, that would not apply to Ramarak. Ramarak also has a biological factor that allows him to pass through the Hollow Earth, so that is not a durability feat. Yeah, I know. Disappointing, ain't it? The sheer fact that Godzilla, Shimo, Rodan, King Ghidorah, and Mothra all have these better feats, and Adult Kong as well, all have these better feats, right? So at the end of the day, like I said, armor is not equal. The Giga absolutely stumps. Now in terms of speed, yeah, I could definitely agree with the Skullcrawler being faster and more agile. I don't think anyone has a problem with that here. Now, when we get to stamina, this is actually pretty interesting in my opinion. You see, again, you can't relate either of these guys to like real life animals here. But again, obviously, Goji Center did do their best here with both how high twitch muscles kind of affect the skull crawler and its pretty much ravenous appetite, which again does make sense, and it actually does explain why the skull crawlers are always in a constant state of hunger, because again, they have these muscle fibers that need to be constantly nourished, constantly fed here, and always are tearing because of their body. Then they tried to talk about the Giga's respiratory system by comparing it to, again, real life animals. Real life animals are not fighting for like days upon days on end, are not fighting in entire wars which could last for weeks, and you could just, make them sit down for a minute and then go back out and just go do a hunting routine, right? Again, these terms of stamina, yeah, the Giga actually exceeds it here. Now, in terms of intelligence here, it's actually pretty interesting to find out that a basic Giganotosaurus was in between a tiger and a crocodile. And again, we already know that carnivores are definitely intelligent and definitely have higher battle IQ than most creatures today, even sometimes smarter than us. Then you have the sheer fact that if you really want to, you can have the Giga smarter. It's able to follow commands and actually understands warfare tactics as well here, understanding that it is a powerhouse as well. However, when it gets into its rage mode, obviously, like Goji Center said, it turns to turn on its opponents, or turn on its allies, excuse me. Unless you have the Evo Giga, which is 100 times better. It will be loyal to you even when it's angry, like a good boy. But with that being said here, yeah, Giga honestly just took that pretty easily. Then we have Senses here. Now, I do think that, yes, this also does go to the Skull Crawler here. The Giga kind of just does operate within the, I guess, say the game mechanic, as it does have a very high aggression towards anything and or everything around it. But then the sheer fact that, Giganotosauruses were more based off sight than smell, as apparently due to the research here, the Giga would definitely be able to see the skull crawler coming from its peripheral, or from its binocular view here. However, the skull crawler actually has better senses here, and so it came down to whether or not if the skull crawler could not only spot it but get a successful ambush off of it, so that he can definitely secure the win. So with that being said here, yeah, senses went to the skull crawler here. It was kind of pretty obvious here, in my opinion. I mean, it's got snake-like senses and stuff like that here. But next part, we had bite effect. And I don't even think I really need to say it here. The Giga has a way stronger bite, biting through even like metallic armor and stuff like that there. Meanwhile, it couldn't even, the Skullcrawler or Ramarak over here, couldn't even bite through Kong when he was weakened. Like, dude. And Kong only has fur. Be for real right now. And the sheer fact that the Skullcrawler's teeth is also pointing backwards here, meaning that it has more of a pull-in bite than the Giga's slice and dice bite. So obviously, because of the Giga's more biting ability or bleeding ability, yeah, it does have a, a bitter effect. Now, auxiliary weaponry, right? I didn't really care for this one. I mean, it's kind of pointless. It was kind of pointless at this point, or pointless at that margin here, because again, yeah, the Skullcrawler just has more. His tail, then you also have his arms and forelimbs, and then its prehensile tongue here. Then it came to the X factors, and obviously that would have went to the Giga like 10 times over here. The Skullcrawler's best X factors really was its senses here, and then the Giga was already having a wild card here with its rage, its adrenaline boost, and everything here. So with that being said here, they actually said that the Skullcrawler actually had a lot of things equal. They were equal in armor or durability, which is a no. The Giga took stamina and bite effect, while the Skullcrawler took speed, intelligence, senses, and auxiliary weaponry. So I'm honestly just gonna leave it like this. I am. Am I disappointed in it? No. I mean, what do you expect from people that think a regular Tyrannosaurus Rex from Jurassic Park can survive Deviljho's dragon breath? Like, like, come on now. They're gonna survive a multi-continental to even planetary attack, right? Crazy, ain't it? And then the sheer fact that a lot of these creatures in Ark are just built like that. They really are. These bigger, stronger Apex or T-Rex and, anything Rex level and above is around the city block level. The sheer fact that a wyvern by itself is already destroying multiple city blocks by itself here. And 2 wyverns destroying an entire civilization or an entire city entirely. So you have that. And then the Giga scales above that, like, significantly easily. Like, it's no contest here. One wyvern could take out the entirety of a Skullcrawler army. The one that Kong even feared here. And the sheer fact that Ramarak itself would also get, like, one-tapped by even a Rex. By a Spino, by an Acro. And I'll even say a Bronto as well here. And then you have the more, realistic or applied dinosaurs, if you will, here. You have Dinokairos. You have the Desolate Titan and stuff like that there. You have all these creatures that are, can get added to the game. Deinosuchus and so on and so forth here. All of these guys are just, in the same tiers as Rexes, but yet the Giga just outscales them, stomps them, molds them, and tears them apart here. The Skullcrawler or Ramarak here has absolutely no chance. It gets one-shotted and eaten. Okay? It doesn't even scale, in all honesty, it probably wouldn't even scale to a full strength juvenile Kong at that point. I don't think it would here. It would honestly just get stomped out and just torn apart with ease here, like Kong has done with just about every other Skullcrawler on this island. And the sheer fact that it's going to sliced up with rusted old boat materials, like a whole boat propeller, right? Then the sheer fact that a flare gun blew out its eye. And you expect me to believe that, this creature is beating Ark's Giga? I'll tell you this, Ark's Giga could survive in Monster Hunter, and even survive in the Elder's Recess. Ramarak wouldn't. The Skullcrawler species wouldn't in general. They wouldn't last a day down there. Because again, once they really hit even the Anjanath tiers, they're starting to struggle. And likely would just get eradicated by any creature that's hungry. Deviljho's going to see them. He's going to say, yo, it's a all-you-can-eat buffet, baby. So, with that being said here, that's going to be off today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe, and share it with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock. And again, I will be doing these on InShot now due to the sheer fact that TikTok and CapCut have both been banned in the US. How unfortunate, right? But anyway, you guys have a blessed day and stay safe and take care. Peace.